Hi, welcome to my kitchen. If you're new here, my name is Angela and I'm the Inquisitive Farmwife. I call myself that because I'm a very curious person and I love to learn new things and I love to share it with all of you. I also have a huge passion for food waste, food preparation, food storage, cooking, baking, crafting, just so many things. Today, we're going to be using up some of our spring abundance to make a delicious meal. And when I have enough of the ingredients available, which I do have a surplus today, I also make freezer meals so that later when life is a little bit crazy, maybe when your garden harvest is coming in or you've got ball games to get to, it's nice to have quick meals that you can just throw in the oven and warm up. And you know that they're going to be healthy and good for your family, and you're not saving money by not going through the drive-thru. Today we're going to be making ham and cheese potatoes with asparagus. Let me bring you in and show you what I've already done. Nearly all the prep work has been done. I grabbed myself a big bag of potatoes, I diced them up, and I went ahead and parboiled them. I have some ham here. You can choose whatever kind of meat you want. There's a turkey ham that's already processed and cooked. You can use leftover ham off of a family dinner, whatever. And I like to add vegetables to my casseroles, so it's kind of a one pot wonder, just one dish. And we have a lot of asparagus in the garden right now, so I'm using that. I've measured out our sour cream, our milk, and then we'll also be using some cream of mushroom soup. If you do have cream of chicken, cream of whatever, go ahead and use it. Or you can make your own sauce so easy with just a little bit of butter and flour on the stove top. We've got garlic, salt, pepper. I've got some nacho cheese just because I think it gives a little extra. I don't have any fresh onions, so I grabbed my, freeze-dried onions for today. And then a choice of some shredded cheeses. A couple of pans for the freezer. A pan for tonight. Let's get started. Today I chose to use a russet potato because it's a little hardier of a potato and it can tend to take to cooking and standing up a little bit better through the cooking process. I didn't fully cook these potatoes, but the reason, you can do them absolutely raw if you didn't want to go through boiling them, if you didn't have time that day or you just didn't want to. But because I'm gonna put these in the freezer, I don't wanna have to bake this and then put it in the freezer. I'd rather bake it the day that I bring it out of the freezer. I've got about a pound and a half in each one of these pans. And what's ham and potatoes without some ham? I went ahead and used all that I had. I found some that needed to be used. I like to get a pre-cooked meat. I get those the turkey ham. I don't know if you've seen that. That works really well. You could probably even substitute like a pork steak if you wanted to. I imagine even a beef steak might be good with this. But you'll want about maybe a pound of meat. My husband would probably want about 3 pounds of bacon per dish. Just choose whatever type of meat or meat product that you would like to have, but I'm being extra generous and probably doing about twice what many of you have seen before. But again, this is going to be a main dish, not a side dish. This is optional. You do not have to put any veggies at all. We just have a lot of asparagus going on right now, and I thought this would be a great way to use some of this up. You can use canned asparagus. You can use any kind of canned vegetable that you want. You can steam the asparagus. Normally, I would suggest to go ahead and steam it a little bit before you put it in the casserole, especially if you're going to be doing like I am and putting it in the freezer. But this is just kind of another way to sneak in extra veggies. I think that broccoli would be another good one. And we're just going to kind of layer this in. I almost think I could have gotten away with making 4 pans of this. Does that ever happen to you where you go along and you've got ingredients and then all of a sudden it's more than you thought it would be? I kind of think that's where I'm at. I'm gonna add some garlic salt on the top of our asparagus now. I'm gonna be very generous with it. I'm really starting to wonder if I'm gonna get everything to fit in this one pan. Okay, I've made the decision that this glass pan, I have filled it too full. So we're gonna transfer some of this over here, and then I can either share this with some family, or I can put it in the refrigerator to have maybe in a few days. Okay, so I'm gonna take about half of that out of there. That looks a little better. We need room for our sauce, so I think I'll do the same. Just take a little bit off the ends here, kind of squish this down. There we go. Now we've got our pans about 3/4 full each. Sometimes when you go to do these things, you just have to go with the flow on it. You have to be on the fly with things. No big deal. You know, fresh onion is always the best. Did you hear that, Seal? But when you don't have fresh onion, my second favorite is either freeze-dried or frozen. And today I've got freeze-dried onion. And I probably want to put close to a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup on here. If you've never worked with freeze-dried foods, you can actually add them to recipes like this, or you can choose to reconstitute them first. But I know that there is going to be a lot of sauce I'm going to be adding. So I don't think I need to add any more liquid to this recipe. Put that back in there. If you don't have one of these yet, I'll have a link down below. There we go. And store this away till I need it next time. Now it's time to make our sauce. I'm gonna start out. I've got about 1.5 cups of sour cream. This is my farm fresh whole milk. You can use whatever milk you have available to you. The creamier it is, the creamier your sauce will be. So if you want to use half and half, go for it. And then to this, I'm going to add some cream of mushroom soup. You can use cream of chicken, you can use cream of celery, you can use cream of whatever, or you can make your own roux and your own cheese sauce by heating up some butter and some flour, putting it on the stove. You've seen me do that many times before. It's kind of like making a gravy. Feel free to sub that out if you wish. Just to give it a little extra cheese, we're gonna add some nacho cheese sauce. I think that it can take the small amount of spice that this has, but if you don't like this, you can use the cheese soup. I love to put Velveeta in my potato casseroles, but I didn't have any today, and that's another reason why I want to do this, because normally on top that layer there, I would have taken and made some chunks of Velveeta and stuck inside there. It is perfect for casseroles. It just makes everything so smooth and creamy. Sometimes when you add cheeses to things, they don't melt properly and they get kind of chunky, and it's just not texturally pleasing. Looks like this is gonna need a little whisk to help incorporate everything. Okay, we're gonna salt and pepper to taste. So this is just whatever your family likes. Depending on what kind of ham you use, a processed ham is gonna have a lot of salt in it already, so you may not need as much of that. Okay, I've got some butter in the microwave melting, and I need some flour. I am completely out of regular flour, so we're gonna use whole wheat. And I'm gonna put in maybe about 2 tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons per batch. Here's our butter, nice and melted. We'll go ahead and add that in there. This is just gonna give flavor. With the butter, it's gonna make it nice and rich. And then the flour will help just kind of thicken things up even just a little bit more. And we're gonna let that just kind of go down into the casserole. If you want, you could take this and you could mix it. But honestly, when it bakes, it'll all fall down in there anyway. Spread this out really good. Next thing we're gonna do is add some cheese, because what's a casserole without cheese? Right here I have quesadilla cheese. I thought that sounded really good for our base. And if you want to just put this in there, you could put it in the oven, bake it for maybe 20-30 minutes, take the foil off and put more cheese on. But I'm probably gonna put all the cheese on now because I wanna make sure I'm able to evenly put it on all of the pans, because while the one for tonight's cooking, the others will be put in the fridge and freezer. And then I just thought mac and cheese blend sounded really good too. You're gonna want up to 3 cups of cheese per casserole. Okay, so we're gonna add some Colby and Monterey Jack to this. Just a little bit. Okay, so we are going to spread these cheeses out all the way to the ends. And because the meat and the potatoes are pre-cooked, it's only gonna take about 30 minutes to cook. You will want to spray this so that your cheese does not stick to the top, especially if you're like me and you went overboard with the cheese. And we're gonna put this in 350 degrees for 30 minutes. Now for my other casserole dishes, I have these special lids that fit, but make sure you label what's inside. Cheesy ham and potato casserole with asparagus. And don't forget the directions. Bake at 350 degrees times 30 minutes. But first you need to thaw. If you don't thaw it, you'll have to bake it longer. It's ready. Let's serve it up. Cheesy goodness. Looks good. It is a little watery. I did let it set for 10 minutes, but I'm kind of surprised. Let's give it a taste test. I didn't cook the asparagus, so it's still a little crunchy. I like that texture. Potatoes are perfectly cooked. Everything's cheesy, saucy. Only thing I think I would do different is cut back a little bit on the milk. Maybe if I used my own thick sauce instead of the canned soup mix, that would have worked even better. Let me know if you give it a try and what you think of it. See you next time. Bye for now.